In this short video, we'll guide you through the steps of using our Prusa MK4 machines. There are two steps in 3D printing. The first is slicing your model, and the second will be printing your model on the machine. First, let's go through slicing. Slicing refers to taking an STL or 3D object file and turning it into G-code or instructions for the printer. Prusa's use the Prusa slicer, which is installed on all of our computers. We are going to start with the print settings in the top right corner. Print settings will determine the layer height and speed, which influences the amount of detail and time it takes to print your model. 0.2 millimeter layer height speed is the default option. For more fine details, decrease the layer height and speed. For a faster print, choose a larger layer height. Next, ensure the filament dropdown has generic PLA selected for filament and original Prusa MK4 0.4 millimeter nozzle selected for the printer. Now you can add your file using the first button on the top ribbon, or you can drag and drop. You can edit and orient your model by first selecting the part you want to edit and using any of the options on the left side ribbon. In order to avoid poor print quality, you want your model to be oriented in a way that minimizes overhangs and shallow angles. You can check if the model has overhangs by hitting Slice Now and seeing if there are any dark blue sections. Return to the solid view by clicking the cube in the bottom left corner. The best way to avoid shallow angles is to use the Place on Face function. If your model does have unavoidable overhangs, you will need to add supports. For most models, changing the supports dropdown on the right-hand options bar to On Build Plate Only will be sufficient. More complex models may require supports everywhere. Underneath the supports dropdown, you can see there is an option for infill. This is how densely the model will be filled and also affects the print time. For most models, 15% infill is ideal. Now we can hit the Slice Now button in the bottom right corner. This turns the model into G-code and will give you an estimated print time. You can use the slider on the right side of the screen to scan through each layer of the model to look for potential issues. Now use the Export G-code button to save the file to a USB flash drive. Make sure you eject the flash drive before removing it from the laptop. Now that our file setup is complete, we can move to the printer. After plugging in the USB, the first thing we need to do is preheat the printer. Select Preheat and choose PLA. While it is heating up, place your roll of filament onto the holder. Once the printer is up to temperature, find the end of the roll of filament and load it into the hole on top of the extruder, going through any guides. The printer will extrude a bit of filament, and then you can follow the prompts on the screen to finish the loading process. After the filament is loaded, you can start printing your model by selecting your file. Make sure you watch the printer for at least the first layer. If you see any problems like filament not sticking to the build plate or the nozzle lifting up filament from the build plate, stop the print and try starting it again. If you have any questions or encounter any issues, be sure to ask a staff member. Good luck and happy printing!